A short time ago, there was a man named David who was always anxious about living the wrong life and dying. He had a good job, a loving wife, and a beautiful home, but he was constantly worried that he was missing out on something. David had always been a worrier, but his fear of living the wrong life had become overwhelming. He was constantly reading self-help books, attending motivational seminars, and talking to life coaches, all in the hopes of finding the perfect path. One day, David decided that he needed to take action. He quit his job and sold his house. Determined to find his true calling, he set out on a journey to discover what he was meant to do with his life. David's first stop was a small village in the mountains. He hoped to find inner peace and enlightenment among the wise old monks who lived there. But when he arrived, he found that the monks were too busy playing video games to offer him any guidance. Disappointed but undeterred, David continued on his journey. He traveled to a tropical island, hoping to find inspiration from the natural beauty and tranquil surroundings. But he soon realized that he was allergic to the sun and the sand and spent most of his time sneezing and scratching. David's next stop was a bustling city where he hoped to find excitement and adventure, but he quickly became overwhelmed by the noise, crowds, and traffic. He spent most of his time hiding in his hotel room, too afraid to venture out into the chaotic streets. After several months of wandering, David found himself in a remote desert. He had given up on finding his true calling and was resigned to living a mediocre life. But as he sat in the sand, watching the sunset over the endless horizon, he realized something. He realized that he had been so focused on finding the perfect life that he had forgotten to enjoy the one he had. He had been so afraid of living the wrong life that he had forgotten to live at all. With this newfound realization, David decided to return home. He reconnected with his wife and started a new job. He didn't know if it was his true calling, but he didn't care. He was happy, fulfilled, and living in the moment. Years passed, and David grew old. On his deathbed, surrounded by his family and loved ones, he smiled and said, "I don't regret a thing. I lived the life I had, and that's all that mattered." And with that, David passed away, satisfied in the knowledge that he had lived his life to the fullest.